When a U.S. president walks into the spotlight with his own background music, bold, dramatic, and unintentionally hilarious, it's no wonder he became a wanted man in China. Chinese people have given Trump over 12 different nicknames. But the most famous and weirdly most affectionate one is this, Chuan Jianguo, which means Trump building the nation, and they even call him Comrade Trump. Sounds bizarre? Hello, I'm Cici Xiangchun. Welcome back to my channel, Cici Says. Today, let's break down what this nickname really means and what it reveals about how Chinese people use humor to understand power, politicals, and even global chaos. Out of the dozen nicknames Chinese people have given Trump, a few really stand out. Like this one, 变脸王, the face-changing master. Because Chuan sounds a bit like Trump, and it's also short for Sichuan, the province famous for opera artists who switch masks in a blink. So when Trump kept flipping his trade policies, people joked he was doing Sichuan face changing, but no mask required. Another crowd favorite, Dong Wang, the king of knowing it all. It comes straight from Trump's favorite catchphrases.
Nobody knows more about taxes than I do.
Nobody knows more about construction than I do.
Nobody knows more about campaign finance than I do.
Nobody knows consultants better than me.
Nobody knows much more about technology, this type of technology certainly, than I do.
Nobody knows more about technology than me.
Nobody knows it better than me.
I know more about ISIS.
Nobody knows X better than me. And when he says the word do, it sounds like the Chinese word dong, meaning to understand.
Nobody knows more about taxes than I do.
So, Trump became Dong Wang, the king of knowing in China. These nicknames exaggerate Trump's personality quirks, but one nickname goes beyond that. It doesn't just mock what he says, it flips the entire China-US narrative on its head. And that name is Chuan Jianguo, building the nation. The nickname Chuan Jianguo was born during Trump's 1.0 era. Back then, his fierce trade war, tech bans, and endless anti-China talk didn't spark fear in China. They sparked motivation. Chinese industries doubled down on innovation in electrical vehicles, robotics, and rare earth technologies. More importantly, they began cutting their reliance on US markets and tools. So in a way, Trump's aggressive policies backfired, pushing China to become stronger, faster. As people joked online, he didn't just try to hurt China, he accidentally helped build it. Even major Western outlets like The Economist and The New York Times picked up on this irony, noting how this nickname captured something very real. And that's where the name comes in. In Chinese, Jianguo means to build the nation. It's a super patriotic name. Many Chinese men born in the late 1940s, just around the time of founding the PRC, were named Jianguo. Because Trump was born in 1946, so they started calling him Chuan Jianguo. Before Trump launched his full-on tariffs war with China on April 2nd, a surprising number of Chinese people actually liked him. Why? First, he made US democracy look broken. His trades, scandals, and wild behavior made people question the whole idea of Western political leadership. Second, he acted like a strongman. Trump's tough, no-filter style reminded many Chinese people of the kind of decisive leadership they are used to. And during his second run, at over 70 years old, he faced lawsuits, scandals, even a shooting attempt. But he kept going. That kind of grit, especially from an aging leader, earned him a degree of respect. Third, he echoed conservative values. His criticism of LGBTQ rights and gender ideology aligned with some traditional values in China. They saw him as a pushing back against Western liberalism. Fourth, he rejected worker culture. Many Chinese are skeptical of Western identity politics. Trump's anti-work messaging struck a chord with people who think social cohesion matters more than the personal identity. So, while Trump was busy trying to tear China down, he also seemed to be tearing America down in the process. His chaotic policies, trade flights, and global tendramas made America look unstable, and to some Chinese nationalists, that just confirmed what they already believed, that China's system is stronger, more reliable, and more future-proof than Western democracy. After Trump's trade war, the tariffs leveled up, the drama got bigger. Trump's constant flipping-flopping, paired with his wild, often outrageous behavior, made many Chinese people see him less as a serious threat, and more like a grown man with a hyperactive child living inside him. The more chaotic he became, the more calm and confident China looked by comparison. In a strange way, his madness made China seem stronger. When Trump launched the tariff war, he thought China would fold. Instead, China pushed back hard. The government responded with tit-for-tat tariffs, calmly matching every U.S. move.
Put up the timeline of the China tariffs. Trump tariffs China and ups tariff to 34%. China does nothing. Trump hikes tariffs to 84%. China responds with matching tariffs. Trump hikes again to 145%. China responds with matching tariffs. Trump says that he wants Xi to call him. China does nothing. Trump says he is ready to make a deal. China does nothing. Then Trump rolls back tariffs. All of this is breathtaking in
It wasn't just about the economy. It was about national confidence. According to Maria Weger, a Harvard researcher who trained at an Amazon center in Hangzhou, using Chuan Jianguo directly shows Trump's tariffs didn't break China. They actually helped Chinese sellers go global faster. Instead of relying on U.S. markets, Chinese entrepreneurs started expanding into Europe, Latin America, Southeast Asia, everywhere. Amazon data shows over half of its top sellers now come from China. And in Hangzhou, young business owners aren't panicking. They are learning logistics, languages, branding, and AI-powered marketing.
This is how Chinese traders in Yiwu stay ahead of their local competition. Lessons in Arabic, a new language to win over new customers, a much-needed skill in the midst of an economic war. Their toys are no longer heading to the United States. Instead, buyers come from the Middle East, South America, and Europe. And those on the front line of this crisis remain defiant.
What do you think of Trump?
Tariffs didn't bring manufacturing back to America. They just made everything more expensive for U.S. consumers. And get this, on Taobao, you can literally buy a little Trump Buddha statue for luck, business, and global expansion. You'd think all this drama would make Americans more anti-China. But here's the plot twist again. Americans' views on China are shifting too. A 2025 Pew Research survey shows that negative views of China in the US are actually declining. In 2024, 81% of Americans had a negative view of China. In 2025, that dropped to 77%. Even the percentage of people who called China an enemy fell from 42% to 33%. And the number of Americans who said that they were very unfavorable toward China dropped 10 full points, from 43% to 33%. So, while Trump was trying to paint China as a bad guy, political opinion quietly started to shift. So, Chuan Jianguo isn't just a meme, it's a satire with layers. A nickname that started as a joke and ended up sounding strangely prophetic. Because Trump tried to tear China down, but he ended up doing the opposite. He built pressure and China built momentum. He triggered tariffs and China triggered transformation. He screamed China in every speech and China quietly rewrote the narrative. That's why people started calling him Comrade Trump. Not because they admired him, but because they outplayed him with humor, resilience, and a very Chinese kind of meme magic. Maybe that's the real genius of Chuan Jianguo. In a world full of chaos, it's a nickname that turned a global mess into a cultural flex. So, do you think Trump accidentally helped build China? Drop your thoughts or your favorite Trump nickname in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you next time.